funny you said that my mother was very good in artworks too. She never was a
Yes, really.
painter, but she used to do crochet and so many artworks. She had
Ah,
the art within herself. I could see that. Probably I got that
mm,
gene from them, So my point is, when they do it without even telling you, they set an example. So when you
yes.
set an example, now it's your turn. You set an example for others. So hopefully somebody will learn from that. And you speak to the
Got
world
it.
through your art.
Yes. Oh my goodness. The
Mm.
wisdom, all of this wisdom, Usha, my goodness. Artists, creatives, and designers. I'm your host, Electra, and welcome to DreamAloud Art, where we have educating, inspiring, and motivating conversations with creatives from around the world. Show some love and support by subscribing, liking this video, and uplift another creative by sharing this video. Let's tune in to another amazing conversation. Let's go. Artists, creatives, and designers, y'all, we have an incredible artist in the building today. If you have not been put on to her work, then you need to, okay? You need to get out the house, get some fresh air, and get up to date with who is out here in the art world, okay? And make sure that you click all of the links in the description to find out about the one and only USHA KOLPE. Listen, she is a force to be reckoned with, okay? So let me give you, I actually have like a running sheet here that I'm going to just briefly mention because there's so much good information here, and her list of achievements is so super long. So I want to at least get the ball rolling so you can have a brief understanding of how she takes her passion very seriously. And y'all know this is what I talk to y'all about all the time, is being serious with love. Okay, so being serious with what you're doing and moving forward, taking action and getting the message that you have inside of you out of you. Okay, so here's a little bit about the one and only USHA KOLPE. So she is a physician artist, which I have got to know more about because I actually Googled it. I was like, okay, what does this mean? I'm like, I need to get prepared here because I've learned so much and there's still so much room for growth. But she's a physician artist and she firmly believes in peace and human rights, which is wonderful. And that can be felt in her artwork. And for those that are listening to my podcast, again, click the links in the description so you can see and actually get a good visual of the artwork that we're going to be talking about today, okay? Check her links out and the YouTube. So there's a lot to take in. So she's also, which I think this is wonderfully communicated, she's deeply disturbed by environmental pollution, and she's actively involved in the United Nations project for ocean cleanup. And again, we'll expand because I have so many questions, so many, okay? And she wants to speak to the world with her work, and I feel that she does that effectively, very effectively. So y'all put your hands together at home, in your car, wherever you're listening or watching, put your hands together for the one and only USHA KOLPE. It's a pleasure having you.
Oh, thank you. Pleasure is all mine.
Yes.
I'm so fortunate to be here and you look lovely.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Y'all, me and Usha were just talking earlier before the interview, and I was just telling her, like, when I looked at her website and not just looking at the website, when you look at it through your, what I'll call looking at it through your spiritual eye, there's a sense of poetry with what she's communicating. So it doesn't just feel like words. It's like there's a deeper meaning to the words she's using. Okay. So it's all reflected in her work. So again, click the links, all of them, every single one of them. Okay. So Usha, tell us, first and foremost, from the introduction that I was reading here, what does it mean to be a physician artist? What does that mean?
Well, since age 4, I wanted to be a doctor, nothing but a doctor. I never changed my mind, and that was the only thing in my goal, to be a doctor. For me, taking care of somebody and healing somebody's pain, it meant a lot to me, to taking care of that. But I spent years of my practice in medicine, and I was a surgeon back home in India, general surgeon. Then I came to Chicago. After that, I did 1 year of surgery, then changed to anesthesia. And I am an anesthesiologist. But somewhere along the line, I realized that in being a physician, you heal the body. You need to heal the soul too. That's where the art came. And I enjoyed my any artwork, and I had a passion for art, but medicine takes a lot of your time. So somehow I was not putting any time into art. And I think my sister is an artist back home in India, and there are a lot of people whom I know, they were artists too. My nephew's an artist. There are a lot of artists out there in the family. But I always enjoyed it. But once this COVID hit, when I was kind of alone at home, I got back into my painting, which I used to do it before, but I kind of it was kind of dormant, Now it's something become like a phoenix. It just came from nowhere. It just, and it started growing, and I enjoyed it. It is very therapeutic. And I feel that, it's really, this is it has a great healing power. Art is, where you are expressing yourself. Not only that, you can make others to heal also. So that's something I really learned in my process.
Absolutely. I love that. Well, you already dropped a few strong gems, especially about how, with medicine, healing that heals the body, yes, but then also healing the soul. Like where does that come into the equation? And then, of course, connecting that to art and your form of expression. So I guess I just imagined a young girl, and then, you're growing into your adulthood, into a woman, and your mind is set on becoming a physician, and focusing on medicine and healing in that way. So what was the point, or what was the becoming of the visual artist of painting? Like when did that start to become in stride, where now you're doing it more, So this is a big question for so many artists about what a transition looks like. They're in this stage where they're really interested in art, and they do it at home, or they kind of do it. What would you share about your transition? And I say transition because when we look at your work, we look at your website, it's not about completely stopping the career that you have. Like that's not the path for every artist, right? But there are artists who feel like they have to stop that in order to transition. So what would you share as far as that becoming? Like when did you just start to lean more into expression with painting? So not just like a career switch, it's not about a career switch. Like, this is what I teach artists. It's about just getting it out, communicating that message. So what did that look like for you to have it flourish and continue to grow?
I think, art, you see art everywhere. Actually, art is like I see in your smile. I see it everywhere in nature. The nature is the best artist. I mean, when you go around, you see that art everywhere. It's only thing, it's inside you. You don't know that it is inside you. So you have to
Mm.
bring it out. When you express it, it's like, it's therapy. It is a
Oh,
therapeutic, actually. When
yes,
you,
absolutely.
yeah, well, it's like, when you talk about it, when you vent it out, it's the same way. It's like, and also the art, when you see, it's like, when you create something, you feel empowered too. Because it's like,
Say that. What? It's so true. Don't get me started,
it's like,
Usha. Don't get me
you're
started.
creating, it's a blank canvas. There is nothing. And you are
Woo.
bringing in nature, a part of the nature, a part of the human being, part of the smile, part of the tear,
Woo.
emotions, animal. It's just like, it's like a story.
Mm.
So it's coming out there in a blank, and you're creating, and that empower. I feel that when you don't do it, you're not recognizing your own power.
Oh my goodness. Stop everything. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. This is, whew. I'm just like, remember what I said earlier? I have to calm myself down sometimes because it's so true. You communicated that so well. And part of what I teach artists is, I put a lot of emphasis on this, is confidence. And that confidence can be built when you are taking action. When sometimes there's this block for artists, what I was mentioning earlier about, well, I can't even start it. I can't even start at all until I compile all of these things, I have to get to this place. And it's like, you don't have to it's about taking those steps and getting it out. Even if you just start journaling it and then, or sketching, or start with something small, just start.
I know, that's
So
what I
critical.
say, that some of my friends are that they're great singers. They think, oh my God, how am I going to? No, you just go there and sing. That's all it is. You
Yes.
have within you. You just need to recognize who you are.
Yeah.
That's why when that Anima Mundi presentation in Venice, it's the we are all part of bigger cosmos, and we are all connected one way or other with same thing, with
Got
the
it.
same cosmos which is present in me. It is present in you and present in every human being and animals,
Right.
every living creatures. If you don't recognize and respect it, like, then that's the whole thing. You need to recognize who you are, what you are. That's a
My
basic thing.
goodness. Well, I wasn't ready for all of this.
It is not only the art. I'm talking about whether the music, it could be dance, it could be performance, it could be
Yes.
cooking, it could be gardening, it could be
Yes.
anything, anything at all, anything. As long as you have a passion for that, you
Yeah.
recognize you're good at it and you want to become good at it.
Mm-hmm.
If you are little good at it, you want to become good at it and thriving for
Yes.
the better. The philosophy is thriving for the better.
Mm.
So once you have that motto in your life, you reach somewhere for sure.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So have you written a book? Because you should. My gosh, what? That was so good. I feel like I was just listening to a podcast right now. Like I was just listening to, I was just tuning into USHA radio over here. That's really good. Oh, that's so powerful. Let's touch on, and thank you so much for that. Let's touch on your presentation in Biennale. What was that like? What kind of experience was that? And you just mentioned some points about things that you had, shared at that presentation. So what was that experience like?
Oh,
In
by
Venice.
now, I had two exhibitions in Venice.
Ah,
One was Biennale, that where I
Biennale.
presented my artwork called Hunger. So it's Hunger. In that artwork, I wanted to speak to the world. We take everything for granted in our life. We are fortunate that we have so many things in love. But there are
Very.
people, they don't know if they eat for lunch, they don't know whether they'll get dinner for sure. There's so much is out there, especially I'm come from India, that's my background. Even though I'm in US for 30 years, I know what that hunger is so painful that
Mm,
we take for granted. So I wanted to show it to the world. What would you do to eradicate the hunger? Even for one person, there are 9 billion people in this world. If you
yeah.
eradicate one person's hunger, you made a difference in this world. I mean,
Yes.
the very existence, the essence of your existence to make a difference in this world for better.
Yeah.
So maybe
Absolutely.
we cannot change everything what is happening in this world. But if you can change one person's life or two person's life, whatever it is, your power, if you can change, you
Mm,
do make a difference. So that's what I wanted to show in that artwork. Like, what would
mm.
you do to eradicate hunger of one person in this world?
Oh,
So
absolutely.
that was one my biennial presentation.
Yeah. Oh, that's powerful. And, I feel like, there are people who don't believe they kind of compound the idea of helping people, and they make it bigger than it really needs to be, to the point that they don't take any action with intention to help someone else, so that one or two people that they could make the most difference in their life, they don't, that doesn't equate to them as helping, so I love that you highlighted that point, because it does equate to helping. You
Exactly.
change one's life, and then we can look at that, possibility. You change one person's life, that person may change the lives of the masses in their own
Exactly.
way, and
Yes,
so
yes, yes, yeah.
yeah. So I love that you shared that. And something else to connect with that I share with artists is that my mother is one of the greatest artists I've ever known, but she didn't, take on a full-fledged career with art. She impacted me with her creativity. And now, I'm on all these platforms communicating with artists, and, so that's a strong example. Touch the lives that you're connected with, and let it spread like wildfire in that way.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I love that.
Absolutely. No, it's funny you said that my mother was very good in artworks too. She never was a
Yes, really.
painter, but she used to do crochet and so many artworks. She had
Ah,
the art within herself. I could see that. Probably I got that
mm,
gene from them. So my point is, when they do it without even telling you, they set an example. So when you
yes.
set an example, now it's your turn. You set an example for others. So hopefully somebody will learn from that. And you speak to the
Got
world
it.
through your art.
Yes. Oh my
Mm,
goodness. The
mm.
wisdom, all of this wisdom, Usha, my goodness. Let me give a quick plug and reminder to everyone watching and listening. Make sure you click the links in the description so you can learn more about Usha, connect with her. And, I'm sure she's, very open to just connecting with you too. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important that y'all know that. Reach out to artists, check out their platforms, and network where you can, and learn a thing or two from each other. So we are going to briefly look at your Instagram and your website. But I want to start off with your website for one, which is, of course, www.artkolpes.com. I'm going to look at that because I'm going to pull up what sounded like poetry to me. And I was just thinking, does she write poetry? Wait, okay. So because okay, first of all, right, where is it? Okay. I'm on, is it the homepage? I feel like it is. Oh, read more. I think that's the one. I'm so determined to find it. Now I can't find it. It's okay. All right, hold on. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay, statement of the artist, USHA KOLPE. Now I'm just going to read the brief first paragraph so my listeners and viewers can understand what I'm talking about. When I read this, I was like, okay, everything is so eloquent. What's going on? Okay, so she says, my art is mainly inspired by nature and my surroundings. Nature is emotionally restorative to me. It gives a sense of renewal that paves the way for my self-reflections within me and outside surroundings, for my personal growth and spiritual evolution. Let me tell, and then there's more, y'all. So make sure you go to her website and read the rest. Okay. Because it's all powerful. And this is the reason why I'm reading your artist statement is this is part of what I teach artists. And that is to reach deep down and communicate what it is you really want to communicate. You're in a lot of cases, of course, artists do commission work for, per requests and all of this. But if you are being a creative for the sake of that form of expression that you just want to get out of you, the further you reach down and the more authentic you are with what it is that you want to communicate, the more we can feel it. The more we can feel it. If you're very surface, or you're doing something trendy, or it doesn't resonate with us as powerfully because it's trendy, because it's surface. But, and so there's no perfect, as there shouldn't be, there's no perfect way or perfect way to say it or express it. The point is you're expressing it. And it's just so critical for an artist to be able to communicate effectively, whether that's on their website, whether it's, on Instagram and the captions, to just effectively communicate what it is that you really want to say. That doesn't mean picking the right words all the time. It just means communicating it, getting it out. So I absolutely love that. I had to read that. That's great. That's all I got to say. Like, I'm gonna sum it up, USHA. It's just so great. And again, y'all, go to her site, read her artist statement. It's definitely going to click for you. I am sure that it will. So on your website, there is something, where is it? I study everyone that that I interview. Okay. So this one is called Abandoned Hut. Oh my goodness. All right. So anyone that's on the podcast right now, this is why you just need to go to the website and see it for yourself. So this abandoned hut right here. Tell us about this. I'm just going to start with that. I'm going to pass the mic back to you. Tell us about this masterpiece. I absolutely love it. I love it. It just gives me a very whimsical, relaxed, therapeutic kind of feeling. I'm right there with you as far as nature is concerned. As you see, I have the tree of life behind me. I love nature, flowers, plants. And my dwelling, I have flowers, plants everywhere. So yes, please tell us about this piece.
As I said, I'm from India, and my grandmother place is called Malnad. It is a place to drive to go to from my parents' house to her house. It's like, you go around the mountains. And the nature is spectacular. I can't even tell in my words, how beautiful it is. How beautiful it is. And when I was traveling everywhere, it's so beautiful. And then I would see some huts like that. I would it's like it's kind of run down and it's not like. And then I would keep thinking, I know once upon a time somebody might have lived. What might have happened to them, and to leave a house and abandon their house and walk out from that place? Or it was enigma to me. It was a mystery to me. I couldn't oh my God, it's such a beautiful nature. I would stay here forever. What made them to leave from this place?
Right.
My God, what kind of pain them that must be, what kind of situation it must be. Good situation where they moved up in their life, or it is a bad situation where they had to quit there. It's just that kind of it always used to bug me. So that's what it made me to paint that. That was I call it as a mystery, enigma.
Absolutely. You know what? I love how you gave how you shared your thoughts about that. And I've never thought about it like that, as far as what would the situation look like? Why would a dwelling be abandoned in this way. So it's interesting. And thank you again for sharing that. It is interesting because I never remotely thought about that. And when I see images like your painting where there's a little hut or there's a little rough looking barn, or, I never made that connection of perhaps the story behind how it ended up in that way. But there's a subtle beauty with it, because it's like the dwelling has gotten to the point where it literally looks like it's part of nature. It's so, so the wooden, frame of, what it looks like it is a part of a tree at this point, in its cycle. So yeah, I absolutely love that piece. And you have another one, and I'm bouncing to your Instagram here. I think I saw another one. This one here, I'm going to give that what I call a live like. This one.
Oh,
so tell us a little about that.
This is like, when I travel a lot, and I always get attracted towards the nature, and it looks so calm and serene.
Yes.
But yes. I know that it's like, it's soothing. It's very, very soothing. And for me, wherever I go and see, the water is always moving. There is some small ripples, some waves, and some kind of movement is there. It says that I'm alive,
Right.
Water is telling you that I'm alive, So you see that life. You see that life everywhere. But this one place, when I see that, it is absolutely so quiet, so still, like, and it felt like as if it is like somebody has put a
like what happened
jacket
here
or something like that. It's not even a water, I really had to go and touch it to create a ripple. It is like, why it is not, so it was so still. And then I felt that, even you called so-called movement, at some point it needs to rest. The movement has to come down.
Oh,
it's
my
kind
goodness.
of telling life in, like, take a rest.
Oh, that was good.
Part of life.
That was so good. Okay, I need to literally just jot that down like right now. That was really good.
So
and to those that are listening, we're looking at one of her paintings where, it's a nature scene, it's outdoors, and the water looks very calm and still. And so that's the rundown that USHA was giving us on that one. So I am seriously writing that down. You know what? And I say this on every interview, that I actually take notes for the timing of the interview, that you said something that was like, oh, that was so good. So yeah, that is awesome. As far as, that place of rest that all of us and the world and nature specifically, the place of rest that we just need to find ourselves at times. So even the elements of nature that seem to always be in continuous motion, that was a great example of rest, of pause, of stillness. And I love that. But you know what? Let me touch on this, because again, y'all, this interview could go on for so long. Trust me, I have like so many questions when I look at each art piece. But what I love, what I really love about USHA's portfolio and her gallery and her website, is that she has different styles, different ways of expressing different things. And I'm trying to figure out which one I want to start with first. So let's go with some of your recent ones. So I'm going to like this one here. Now, this one is called maybe that's the title. It says "Me and You Are One," or is that the caption? Is that the title of this piece here? Yeah, yes. This was so unique. All right. So to those, again, to my listeners, it's a black and white image that looks like two people are next to each other. In one way, it could look like a shadow, or the side view of two individuals' faces is what it appears to me. And it could be seen as a shadow, but then of course it could be seen as two people. So can you give us the story with this piece?
Sure. If you really look into first, it looked like some black uh, scribbling
Right.
or some shadow, whatever it is in a white
Right.
background.
Yeah.
If you really look closely, there is two people, like one
Mhm.
black and one white.
Mhm.
So what it means is like, I feel that, everything, every human being, there is nothing called a extremely bad person, extremely good person. It's like, everybody had certain percentage good, certain percentage bad. We
Mm.
are all
Mm.
composed of one thing,
Yeah.
just it is like a day
So
and
true.
night. It's just like a yin and yang, it's just like,
Mhm.
black and white color.
Yes.
The white represents the good part of you. The black part is black is like a bad part of you, but still they are one person. It is
Right.
like that's what it is like, it doesn't matter. Still you're a
Mm.
one person. That's a one person. It is a different faces of two,
Mm.
of one human being.
Right.
That's what I wanted to show.
Yeah, absolutely. So well said. That's very well said. And so that's okay. So I pulled this one up, for example, and again, there are other examples, Usha, on your page, on your website too, where are you have different subjects. You have a multitude of subjects, and I can appreciate that aspect of what feels like as the viewer. It feels like you are expressing what it is that you want to express. You want to communicate what it is that you want to communicate. And I feel like that's important for artists to understand, because as I mentioned earlier, sometimes they'll make it so complex that they fear a change of subject. They fear, and I'm saying this from the many messages that I've received, and I didn't even realize that was the thing, where artists are skeptical about changing the subject, and so I don't know, of course we're going to get your feedback on that. I don't know where you stand just yet as far as different subjects and you being okay with that. But I'll say for some artists, they're okay with that. To them, they're like, oh, what's the difference? I'll paint whatever I want to paint. But I didn't realize that there are artists out there who are anxious, and they're, doubtful about changing what it is that they are expressing. So how does that look to you as far as being flexible in what it is you want to communicate? Are you, again, it looks like you're very in stride with that, but what has that looked like for you, where you're like, okay, I'm painting a landscape here, and then, at another time I'm going to paint maybe a portrait? How did you get to this place of flexibility?
I think if you look into the nature, as I said, I was inspired by the nature. Nature
Right.
is not constant. Nature is flexible. Nature is ever
Oh,
changing.
oh
It's
my
from
goodness.
day starts with afternoon, then evening, then night, and that there is a winter, there is
Oh.
a summer, there is a spring and fall. So
Mm,
it is ever changing. Nature is ever changing. Nature is flexible. It is telling
mm,
you to be flexible. It is teaching
mm.
you to be flexible. And
What?
everything. And we are part of nature. And you and me, we are all part of nature.
That's
Our
right.
emotions are part of nature. How we feel today, we may not feel the same thing tomorrow. you know we
Mm,
are flexible. Everybody is flexible. They think that they are not flexible. They are flexible. There is
mm,
always,
mm.
I mean, we are rigid to a certain extent maybe, but still that the change is part of the growth. Change is part of
Yes.
nature.
Mm,
Change is you, change is me, change is nature. So
yes. My
so
goodness.
changing a style, I mean, whether you're expressing through a tree or a animal or a human being or your emotions, it doesn't matter.
That's so good. Oh my gosh. That was overwhelming. It was just, like I said, I feel like I'm listening to a podcast right now. Usha Radio. Like Usha
Thank you,
Radio.
thank you, thank
That is so good. And what came to me when you were sharing that is giving ourselves permission to be flexible.
Right.
That's it's and based on what you've shared, even when you were talking about yin and yang and, some deeper things that kind of, that are unveiled through our soul. Okay. When you were, you're sharing that kind of energy, it's important. I feel like you can also relate when I say there's balance involved, there's balance. And sometimes with the creative, I'll just say in general, but like the creative mind or the creative side of the mind, or however you want to say that, they may be in this place of flexibility where they don't find a certain appreciation for, say, organization. And the reason why I'm bringing that in is because briefly bringing that in is because what I've communicated to artists is that nature has a divine organizing happening there too, like that. So it's to understand, like, don't look at something like, order, divine order or structure, like that's like with love. If you look at it like the enemy, then you're always going to be like, I never want to get involved in anything organized. I just want to live vicariously and all of this. So I feel like it's understanding that there's balance in the flexibility too, and I'll add that even with your presentation of your art, it still feels we can comprehend that. We can comprehend the different subjects. We can comprehend it and still feel like this is USHA. It's not like confusing to us. It makes sense. And I feel like it does make sense going back all the way to the beginning of our interview, because you're being authentic in what it is you want to express here or what it is you want to create. When you're more aware of yourself, it's like you can, and I feel like you may know what I'm talking about. It's like you can spot when someone is not being as authentic as they can be, like you from a mile away. It's like, are you sure you're being authentic? Like, I know you're saying that, but I feel like there might be a little bit more of the real you that needs to come out. So yeah, I feel like it is a balance of being flexible and of giving yourself that permission, and also gently giving it the energy of order too, like you don't just throw a bunch of work all over the house and then like take random pictures. You present it like you present it and you're like, okay, great. This is what I want to show. So, and you do a wonderful job of that too. So can you please give us an idea of perhaps anything that you're working on right now, or something I know you had, of course, just mentioned your recent presentation in Venice, but anything you're working on now, any inspiration you're catching for the work that you're currently doing, anything you want to share along those lines?
Yes, I have actually three of my painting I'm exhibiting in Athens, Greece. Next month.
Did I see that? I saw that. This, right?
Yes, a hidden wolf. Yes.
That's gorgeous. This is gorgeous.
Hidden wolf. Yes. When you see in the beginning, you don't see it. It just showing, I was trying to say that, when you see it looks nice, it looks light, it's like beautiful. It is lighting the dark color, but there is a wolf there. So it's kind of telling you, be careful out there,
Yeah.
Just because you see lights and colors, don't fall for it. There may be wolf there, standing there. Just be aware of it.
Oh my goodness. Okay. What's that? Go ahead.
That's what this is, the painting, and there is also a couple of other painting will be shown in Athens, Greece next month. I'm pretty excited about that. And
as you should be. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I love that. And again, listeners tuning in on the podcast, links are in the bio. The one that I just held up, it is just a very vibrant structure of a what you could call a lamp or something like that. But is again, artists, y'all know you have to see it clearly. You have to see it in order to like really feel it. it feels extremely vibrant, and to me, okay, how I'm explaining it, everybody explains it in their own way, but it's like the paint is dancing, this your style on this one, Usha, is actually one of my favorite styles. And for me, I'm just going to link it to Impressionism, just this kind of like a textured kind of situation going on, like I love that, where to me, as I mentioned earlier, how I say it is like the paint is dancing. It's off of that surface. It's alive, so very bold, very vibrant painting. Y'all make sure you check it out. Have you ever been to Greece before?
No.
Woo-woo.
This is my first time. I'm pretty excited about that.
My goodness. Yes, I would be thrilled. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to go back to your page because there's actually, and before I ask about another one, where is that? It's a nature scene. Oh, no, this one. I saw this one earlier. Okay, but before I ask about that, what are some words of encouragement that you can share with, and this kind of connects to what I had asked earlier about the transitioning, if you will, transitioning, or, you can be in a career and still flourish as far as start doing your work. But what words of encouragement would you share with an artist about doubting their talent and letting that prevent them from displaying, showing, or even just doing the work for themselves? It's the doubt of the talent, the comparison where they see someone else's work, or they may even see your work, Usha, and think like, oh my gosh, I have to get to this point. Like I have to be as good as she is. I have to do what she's done. Or they hear about the projects that you're working on, or your recent presentation, and they're like, I have to get to that point before I can start. What kind of words of encouragement would you share with an artist so they can just go ahead and do it? What would you say?
Well, first you should have a passion for whatever you do. Number one, you should have a passion. Number one. Number two is consistently doing it, not giving up on that. So you should get rid of fear of rejection in life. That's what it is. Whether you're an artist or a physician, as a human being in relationship, in anything, you will not get what you want in your life. So, but the thing is, that should not stop you for who you are.
Oh my gosh.
That's the basic thing. People are like, some people are so good in writing poetry. They're so good in writing storybooks. Some people are so good at narrating, I think we are all, some people are so good in organizing the things, so like, the artist too, I'm telling, like, whatever you are, like, you recognize who you are and cherish that and flourish that, grow it, recognize that kid and allow that kid to grow inside you.
Right.
That's what you need to do it. Only once you do it, it just comes out on its own.
Oh my goodness. I just got full. Go ahead.
And get rid of fear of, that fear of rejection. You have to get rid of it.
That was so good. I just got chills. That was great. That was great. And when I get chills, that can mean one of two things. That means there was something I needed to hear in that, which is wonderful. And it could mean that I know that's something that's going to change an artist's perspective right there. It's the part that really stood out, what you just said, Usha, is we're not going to get all of these things that you think you may want right now, but you should not let that stop you. And I feel like that's what, some creatives out here deal with. They let the idea of, I may not get to this point, so I'm not even going to start. It's like, right. You have it, as you were just saying, you have the gift, like what, you got it. Do something with it, as opposed to, attaching all these other ideas and this, all these images of what that could look like or what it could not look like. It's like, you're making it too complex. Just go ahead and just get going with the gifts that you have. So that was great. That was really good. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I got to move. Look, I have to move on. Okay. I have to like keep it rolling because I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to keep going down that path. That was wonderful. So tell us about this particular painting right here, which looks like perhaps a tiger's zoom in, a close up of a tiger's eye. Tell us about that.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite painting. It's just like, every time I do like cats and tigers, everything. I watch them carefully. And
Really?
I actually saw this, very from far, of course. This tiger was drinking water it was bending its head in water. But even though it is water, I was looking up. It was looking from everybody. I was like, it's like, we call them as a predators, of course. They are predators. There's no doubt about that.
Understood.
But how cautious they need to be. How cautious they need to be. How cautious they are, even though, like, somebody cannot come and attack them immediately, like, but still they are so careful with their own presence. They're so much mindful of their presence. They're watching everywhere. Being mindful is, we have to learn from even animals, and we are not human beings. We are, as human beings, we are not mindful. And when I saw this tiger, I was so like, oh my goodness, it is he himself is a predator. Look at him, how mindful he is. I felt like he's teaching me something.
What? Oh my goodness. I love that. That was
when I saw that, I felt like that's why I focused. I did not made whole tiger. I did not made the whole thing. I just wanted to focus only the eye. The whole face is down drinking water, but his eyes are looking up. It's something, it's like, that's why that was like, it's so much eye-catching. It was like a teacher to me. It was teaching me something in my life. So I had to bring it on canvas.
Oh, that's wonderful. This is why. Okay, hold on.
And I had to tell you, this painting got 6th place in American Art Award. And
oh my gosh.
People
that's
from
huge.
Afghanistan to Zimbabwe, everyone had participated in that contest. And there was prizes, and I got a 6th place. And
congratulations on that piece. How wonderful. And I have to add this again to my listeners and my viewers, y'all. Sharing that story, it gives life to the work for us as the viewer. When we look at it, we have a certain story in our head, right? This is what I tell artists all the time. We're identifying with it in the way that we're identifying with it, right? We might think of, like when I look at that, I think of, my mom's a Leo. Like she's like, she got, she'll always say like Leo the lion. I'm like, but that's, the tiger. Oh, okay. Like I'm going down this path of different thoughts. But when you share your, synopsis, or if we read a synopsis on your art, now we can see it through your eyes. And there's a different kind of value with that, with being able to, again, communicate the story behind that work. And that's powerful. Oh, that's so good. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, y'all make sure, it's like, I want to continue going down that path. Okay. But make sure that you click the links to see more of Usha's work, her experience, her Instagram, all of that information in the description. Okay. You want to make sure that you get connected. You want to make sure that you follow and support in a multitude of ways. Most definitely. Okay. So we are going to continue here, but I want to find out, firstly, do you have anyone that you want to just say a hi, shout out, or show some love to? Anyone, your supporters, friends, I know some artists will give shout outs to their universities and colleges. I love it. So is there anyone that you want to at least give a greeting to, Usha?
Oh, well, I'm thankful for my parents for
Ah, mm.
allowing me to grow who I am.
Oh, I love it.
I, other than that, of course, I'm very, very thankful for my family
Yes.
and good friends. I'm
Yes.
blessed. I'm blessed.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, y'all, we're going to, first of all, again, thank you so much for such a robust conversation, an opportunity, Usha, for us to just learn about not only your work, of course, but your work is you. Your work is a manifestation of you and your life and your journey. And there's so much to share. Like, there's just so much, so much. And again, artists, y'all need to go to her website and read her statement, read her artist statement. It's mind blowing. And it definitely is like poetry. So we're going to round it out a bit, Usha, and we're going to play a word game. So the word game is simply me just saying a word and you telling me the first thing that comes to your mind within 2 to 3 seconds. And if you can't think
I
of
hope
something,
I'm that fast. I'm not sure.
if you can't, oh yeah, look, there are no rules besides just respond. And I'll add this, even if you can't think of something, you could just say pass and we'll keep it moving. We'll move on to something else. Okay. All right. So the words that I have put together have come from our conversation today. So as we're having a conversation, I was just jotting down some key words that I wanted to use for this game. All right. So the very first word is nature.
Inspiration.
Inspiration. Do you want to know what the next word is? It's inspiration. You must have read my mind. That's great. But yes, okay, that's good. So I'm going to tie those two together. So nature is inspiration and inspiration is nature. The next word is tree. Tree.
Sturdy.
Okay. All right. I love that. The next word is change.
Growth.
Growth. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Relaxation.
Water.
Water. Wait, I'm laughing because another one of the words I have written down is water. This is great.
I can read your mind.
Yeah, this has never happened. You know how long I've been doing interviews? It's been almost 4 years. Like, this has never happened before. So this is great. That makes this all the more unique. I love it. All right, the next word is tiger.
Tiger, mindful.
Mindful. And I just, you know what? Let me pause right here on the word game, because that was something else that really stood out. What you shared earlier about the tiger is that even though, and I may not be quoting you exactly, but even though the tiger is a predator, he's still mindful. Like, that was like, oh my gosh, and how nature can teach us to be mindful. I was like, I need to take a break. Like, I need a timeout or something. That was so good. That was so good. Okay. And the next word is animal.
Loving.
Oh, loving. Nice. Okay. Peace.
Peace. Looking for.
Good. Looking for peace. I love that. Okay. India.
Oh, my home.
Home. Yes. Now that one, I was reading your mind. I was thinking that you were going to say home. I love that. Fantastic. Okay. And the last word is excellent.
Keep trying.
Now, why do you say that? I'm whatever's coming to me, I have it coming to me. But why do you say that for our viewers?
Because unless you keep trying, you never become excellent. That should be your goal in your life. But there is nothing called excellent as such, it is so infinite.
Mm.
I think, the only excellence, you find it in nature. You
Mm.
can't compete with it.
What? Oh my goodness. Okay.
Mhm.
You can't compete. So true. Oh, that's facts. And I'm going to go a couple levels deep with that. And thank you. That was the last word for the word game. And so thank you for playing. See how easy it was? It was stress-free, no problem.
Okay.
But I want to connect with that before we close out here, because you have, just the greatest, I'm trying to put a word to it quickly here, but the greatest examples, if you will, of how wondrous nature is, how oh my goodness, you think of some of the most incredible um, views, the most incredible natural, what do you call them? Just natural. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think of, like natural world wonders, things like that, the Grand Canyons and like that, like you human being, you want to go out there and try to make something like that happen? Like there are so many incredible instances in nature. And as you said, like you can't compete with that. Like that was good. Oh, this has been a lot, Usha, and I appreciate you. I definitely appreciate you. And just for dedicating your time and being here with us today. There's so much to take in, y'all. There's so much to learn. Again, all the links are in the description. If you're listening to the podcast, all the links are there too. I just encourage you to dive in and learn about USHA KOLPE. I mean, there's just a lot. And let me add, there's a lot to learn too. So a lot to learn in the greater sense of how she communicates about her work and the presentation of her work and the clarity of being able to communicate her story. A lot to learn in that way too. I look at a lot of sites, Usha. I look at a ton of websites and Instagram pages and all of that. And your artist statement, that particular page, like that is really good. It's very effective. So yes, shout out to you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. So what we're going to do, we're going to say bye to the viewers real quick. So we're going to say bye to y'all.
And I really want to say something. Thank you so much for, first of all, giving me this opportunity to speak my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, thank you for your time and
Yes.
thanks for everything. And I really thank all our viewers too, So, this is how we communicate with each other, and communication is the key. And you gave me an opportunity for that. And I'm truly thankful for you for giving me an opportunity.
Yes, I received that. I receive it so much. And we have to keep these kind of conversations and this kind of energy going, because this is a collective healing for the creatives. It's a collective healing to be constantly reminded, encouraged to keep going, keep growing into their passion. And I love how you emphasize coming from a place of passion. If it's really, that's a deep passion for you, is being, say, a visual artist in this case, then by all means, like lean into that, so thank you for your contribution so much. So
thank you.
So we're going to say bye to all of our viewers. Me and Usha are going to stick around, but for now, we're just going to say bye to y'all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Creatives, it has been both a pleasure and an honor to have you sit in on our conversation today. So will you be the next artist interviewed? Visit respecttheartist.com/artist-interviews to learn more. And hopefully I'll see you soon. RTA stands for Respect the Artist. Love y'all.